How's it going, everyone? Jesus here, aka Tyrant Dominus, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. Honestly, Anchor is a very enjoyable platform to be on, listen on, and just a joy to be a part of this community. Anchor, come check us out. And welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to bring you another movie review. Actually, it kind of feels like a movie. It's a television series review. This time, the series we're going to be talking about is Loki. Loki is the third Marvel or Disney Plus show that has premiered recently. And to say that it has taken you into a journey is to say the least. So this show takes Loki, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, into basically this kind of the events of what happened in Endgame, where Loki gets the Tesseract after Hulk smashes Tony and the whole thing. So it kind of just leads from there. So it's a very interesting thing, like what happened after this. It was an interesting way to set up, like, ooh, what's going to happen from here? Because of the whole timeline mumble jumble that happened during the talk of what the was it the Chosen One? The Chosen One said. So we kind of find out a little bit what happened. I'm not going to go into spoilers. I'm going to be having an extended discussion, and you probably already heard my first impressions, or actually I didn't think I did a first impression. I did a mid-season discussion with Josh from Gingerflix. So if you want to hear a little bit more of what I thought about the first 3 episodes, because it's interesting, because this show only had 6 episodes, and I wish there was more, but I'm glad it kind of was sustained within these episodes. So getting into it, Tom Hiddleston once again does a fantastic job portraying Loki. Since we're getting a Loki from the events of Avengers, so none of the things that happened to him in Thor: The Dark World or Thor: Ragnarok, all that like character progression, all gone. So it's interesting to see what this version of Loki, are we just gonna get this like conniving evil one still? But the way the show portrays some of this development, like this character builds so fast and it's quite believable, is of how they do it. And you know, Loki gets like basically not kidnapped, arrested by the TVA, the Time Variance Authority. And this kind of starts giving you the idea of the multiverse. We've been getting this sense of the multiverse for a while, ever since Endgame, and trying to think, introduction of with Wanda, the Nexus, things like that. You know, they're really pushing for this multiversal thing, and Loki for sure indeed is one of the key shows that you really want to watch to fully understand what the heck is happening. The one thing that I always been thinking, and I've been reading a lot online, is when Kevin Feige was talking, you didn't have to watch most of these episodes or these television shows to kind of understand what's going to be happening in any of the movies or anything, because they're all supposed to be self-sustaining stories. And in a way I could see that it can be, but this in particular is one key one that for sure is the reason why you should be watching these shows. So some of the new characters added was Mobius, played by Owen Wilson. Wonderful performance. If you've heard already my mid-season discussion, him and Loki, when they're on screen together, they're fantastic. Just this weird buddy cop, it works so well. And then we get without going too crazy into spoilers, if you've already been on the internet, you kind of get the idea of who they're kind of chasing after, because they're being attacked by a variant of Loki, and it's all this chaos. So it's Loki trying to, the TVA working with Loki to try to catch another Loki, and you get into all these shenanigans. There's only 6 episodes, so there are some highs and lows, and I think I talked about this in mid-season, so I'm not going to really recap a lot of that. But I'm going to say the least that from beginning to end, you're going to get a wonderful, intriguing, and very, it's interesting to say narrative heavy, because a lot of people don't really enjoy those kind of narrative stories, but this one does such a fantastic job because of the cast that it just works well. You just want them here. You just want to keep hearing them talk, because they just have this kind of gravitas when they're on screen talking and explaining stuff. Some of the sequences, a lot of the backdrops and a lot of the scenes are really wonderful. They did a lot of good job kind of portraying different planets, kind of this the TVA, this 70s Doctor Who kind of mentality. It's really interesting to say the least. But just kind of getting into the villains and everything, they did such a wonderful job. This for sure had one of the best villains of all 3 shows so far. So if we're just talking about WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki has one of the best villains and one of the best ways to kind of do a finale. It's good. I can't really say much more. There are some some slow points to it. There are scenes where when characters interact, some of the surprises are fantastic, but it's just when certain characters are interacting with each other, it just doesn't meld well, and it just kind of feels like it slows down the pace. Sometimes the pacings of the scenes are very odd, but then it kind of picks up again, but it's this weird hiccup we get sometimes. But overall, it was it's a really good episode. I think I've seen every episode at least twice, and I've seen episode 1 and the finale 3 times, because episode 1 is just a fantastic first episode. It really gets everyone in, and the third episode just has the finale. The finale has so much in it that you have to rewatch it just to kind of get it all in, and not in a bad way, Yeah, that's kind of really it. There's much more I'm going to be talking about in spoilers and stuff, but not in this spoilers. I'm going to have an extended discussion with Josh from Digitalflix. So if you want to hear our mid-season discussions, it should be in our pod listings below, all the episodes under Loki mid-season discussions, or if on YouTube, just look up Reactioncast Loki mid-season discussions, and it should be right around there. But yeah, and we're gonna it should be coming out a little later date after this releases. But I'm gonna give this a Loki season 1. I'm gonna give it a solid 10 out of 10. It was a wonderful show. There were a few hiccups, but from beginning to end, it was good. It was fantastic. It was amazing. It's a little slice of masterpiece. So, so look forward to our mid-season our extended discussions, and we'll go from there. So thanks again for listening or watching, depending on where you're at. Until next time, see ya.